What if I told you that the love you experienced was never a coincidence? That the one who made your heart ache, the breakup that shattered you, and even the times you loved the wrong person were part of an invisible design laid out long before you ever understood what love meant. Your love was never just a product of fleeting emotions or personal choice. It was the outcome of a deep inner journey where the unconscious acts as a silent director, where ancient archetypes and the collective memory of humankind quietly guide you to meet the right person at the right moment. Not to complete you, but to transform you. Carl Gustav Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst, believed that every meaningful encounter originates from the deepest layers of our soul, where archetypes like the anima animus, the shadow and the self, are in constant motion. Love through Jung's lens is not a random game. It is a sacred ritual where two souls are drawn to each other to love and awaken one another. Number one, love is the result of the unconscious process, not coincidence. You might call it fate coincidence or the universe's arrangement. But Carl Gustav Jung once stated unequivocally, "Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. Nothing that happens in the inner world is random." What does that mean? That love, even the ones that arrive suddenly and leave just as fast, all play an essential role in the evolution of your soul. It's not just about the heart, it's about the unconscious. And when you think everything is just destiny, you overlook how your soul actively created those encounters. Jung called the deepest layer of the unconscious, within every human, the collective unconscious. This isn't just forgotten personal memory, but a vast reservoir of symbols, emotions, images, and behavioral patterns passed down through thousands of years of evolution. Within this invisible archive live countless archetypes that you cannot see but still live by. And in love, the two most powerful archetypes are anima, the image of the ideal woman in a man's soul, and animus, the image of the ideal man in a woman's soul. These figures don't exist in reality, but they are what make you fall. Head over heels, get mesmerized, even obsessed with someone from the very first moment. Not because they are perfect, but because they fit an unconscious mold inside you. When someone enters your life and stirs up intense emotions, you often think we're meant to be. But in truth, it's thema, or animus, within you, projecting itself outward. Jung wrote, "The meeting of man and woman is not only a symbol of physical union, but of a deeper psychological completion. You don't love the real person, at least not at first, but love a mirrored image of yourself, the missing part of your soul being reflected through them. And this is why love, when unconscious, often feels obsessive, magnetic, even destructive. You're not truly in a relationship with them. You're dating yourself through the distorted mirror of your unconscious." Think back to the deepest relationships you've ever had. Did you love someone as if they were destiny, the only one who could ever understand you? But over time, the divine illusion fades, and you start to see the differences, the pain, even the chaos. That isn't failure. That is the moment when the anima, or animus, withdraws, and you begin to see the other as a real human being, not a symbol. Jung called this process withdrawing the projections, reclaiming the unconscious images you had cast onto them. And that moment, if you don't fall into disillusionment, is a critical step in the transformation of the soul. Because true love isn't ruled by archetypes, but arises when you move beyond them, connecting one true self to another. Love like that is not a game of chance. It is part of the individuation process, which Jung considered the ultimate purpose of human life. This process demands that you face your shadow, transcend your identification with the ego, and learn to integrate the fragmented pieces of your soul. And love, especially deep relationships, acts as a magnifying mirror, helping you see the parts of yourself you usually avoid. But to love this way with the eyes of awakening, you must pass through many mistakes, wounds, and confusions that the unconscious has led you into. The story of being drawn to someone is not just a tale of fleeting emotion, but a call from the depths of the unconscious. When you meet someone and feel as though you've known them from a past life, it might well be a resonance from the archetypal layer, where ancient memories of love and the ideal partner still live within you. The person you're drawn to doesn't just represent the present. They touch a timeless river flowing through your soul, a symbol that has long held a place in humanity's collective unconscious. An interesting example of this appears in fairy tales, which Jung called the collective dream. In stories like Beauty and the Beast or The Little Mermaid, you see the arrival of destined encounters where love becomes a tool for the two main characters to transform, to move beyond ego, beyond personal limitations. These are not just tales for children. They are ancient symbols that reflect the unconscious process happening in the human mind when it loves. You don't just love someone, you love to grow, to change, to awaken. And if that's true, then what's left to call coincidence? The one who broke your heart. Why did they come? Maybe they weren't meant to be with you forever, but they were essential in that stage of your life to awaken something in you that you could never see before. Jung once wrote in Memories, Dreams, Reflections, "What you meet in another being is the projection of your level of evolution. The one you love always reflects where you are on your inner journey. The more you grow, the more you attract those who can journey with you on a deeper level. And for that reason, love is never a mistake, it's a stage. Look back at all your past relationships not as errors, but as living symbols. Each person bringing a message from your deeper self. One awakened passion, another touched an old wound. Someone taught you boundaries, and someone else taught you how to leave at the right time. Every time your heart trembled, it was Anima or Animus, sending out a messenger into the world to guide you back to yourself. No encounter was wasted. True love, once you've gone through the darkness and the projections, is the kind of love that can stand in the light of truth. That's when you no longer love someone because they're just like your dream, but because they can walk with you through the process of becoming who you are. Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And love, if it truly has destiny, then its purpose is to lead you to someone who can walk beside you on that path of becoming, not through illusion, but through honesty, awakening, and mutual transformation. So if tomorrow you meet someone who stirs your heart, don't just ask, "Who are they?" Ask, "What part of me is being awakened?" Because love is not something you find outside yourself. It is a gateway to the unexplored depths within. No coincidence, no randomness. Every emotion has its reason. And sometimes, your unconscious knows what you need before you can even say it. Number 2, emotional wounds are not failures. They are stages in the alchemy of the soul. And so at some point in the quiet, you suddenly realize that the seemingly random encounters in your life were never accidents. They echo from the deepest part of your being. Signals sent from the unconscious, still operating even when you're unaware. But then, a question starts to whisper in your mind. If everything was arranged, if love was never random, then why does it hurt so much? Maybe you once loved someone with all your heart, only to be shattered until you no longer recognized yourself. Maybe in the middle of that storm, you asked, "What did I do wrong?" But Carl Jung did not view emotional pain as a failure. He did not see it as a mistake of the heart. He saw it as an essential phase, a descent into fire, a test in the alchemical process of the soul. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. Jung once wrote in Psychological Aspects of the Personality, there is no awakening without suffering, because consciousness doesn't emerge in comfort. It arises when the ego is torn apart, when truth shatters the illusions you once clung to just to survive. And love through Jung's eyes is one of the purest and most intense forms of that awakening. You may have believed that love would lift you, make you happy, and heal you completely. But what no one told you is this: before love heals, it exposes. It strikes directly at the armor you built to protect yourself, breaking apart the false definitions of who I am that you created just to endure this world. In the moment your heart breaks, the hidden parts rise. The weak, the dependent, the desperate to be loved and terrified of being abandoned. And this is when you meet the shadow, the part of your soul you deny, but which controls you the most. To confront a person with his shadow is to show him his light. Psychology and religion, West and East. Only by facing the darkness do you get the chance to discover your light. In that sense, love is not just a sweet emotion, but a mirror of the soul, where you see most clearly what you try hardest to hide. If you're in the midst of a breakup, or still carrying the residue of a broken love pause, ask yourself, what have I learned from this pain? Don't ask it as forced optimism. Ask it honestly, like someone on the path back to their true self. Did you once love someone? Not because they were right, but because you feared loneliness. Did you hold on to someone just to avoid abandonment, trading away your honesty in the process? Jung did not believe love was linear, that it comes and then stays happily ever after. To him, each relationship was a gate in the individuation process, the journey of returning to your authentic self, overcoming the false ego and socially imposed images. And the irony is this: the relationships that hurt the most are often the most important ones. They are the catalyst for your soul to burn down, and from those ashes, to reform into something truer, more alive. In Memories, Dreams, Reflections, Jung wrote, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. What's truly frightening isn't losing someone else, but facing yourself. Love is where truth can't hide. It reveals the limiting beliefs you carry from childhood, the wounds still unhealed, the expectations unspoken. And if you are brave enough to stand still in that pain, you begin to see yourself more clearly than ever before. Think back to the last time you were hurt by love, not to blame yourself, but to look again with new eyes. After that pain, did you start to learn how to set boundaries? Did you realize that silence doesn't equal love, that letting go isn't always a failure? These lessons carved from pain are the solid foundation for a mature love in the future. Love, according to Jung, is the alchemical process of the soul. That's why he spent years studying ancient alchemical symbols in Mysterium Conjunctionis. He compared alchemy to inner transformation, from unconscious chaos to conscious wholeness. In the stage of heartbreak, you are in the middle of high heat, where every mask melts down, every defense mechanism dissolves, and from there, your soul is reshaped, stronger, truer, more ordered. This is not a romanticization of pain. Jung never encouraged meaningless suffering, but he pointed out this: if you've ever loved deeply, you've also been deeply wounded. And that does not weaken you. It makes you more real. He called this the death and rebirth of the ego. The old self must die so that the honest self can be born. And this process happens over and over again. Each time pulling you deeper into consciousness. Each time helping you shed another layer of illusion. You may be wondering, when will I be loved the right way? But the better question is, have I learned enough from pain to love from wholeness, because true love, the love that heals, does not come to those still trapped in the fantasy of being saved. It comes to those who understand. I do not love to be completed. I love to be seen. And to do that, you have to walk through fire. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The philosophical tree Jung emphasized, you don't grow by dreaming of light. You grow by illuminating the darkness, the breakups, the betrayals, the moments when you thought you'd never believe in love again. These are the layers of shadow that must be faced. And when you see them with the eyes of someone who has endured you, no longer fear them. At that point, you'll feel gratitude. Gratitude that they came not to stay, but to awaken. Every relationship that made you cry, see it as a living symbol, a messenger from the deep soul, delivering a piece of your individuation map. That person may have been a lesson in boundaries and self-respect, in knowing your worth, in the courage to let go. Each person plays a role. No one is in excess. If you are in the middle of heartbreak, don't be so quick to call it the end. Jung once said, "The greater the contrast, the greater the potential." Great energy only comes from a correspondingly great tension of opposites. Alchemical studies. This means the very place that hurts most, the place of greatest tension between expectation and reality, holds the most power to transform. The pain you're in now is the energy needed to birth a new version of you. And once you pass through that alchemical stage, once you no longer love out of fear, once you no longer need someone to prove you're worthy, then you will be ready for real love. A love that doesn't come from lack, but from wholeness. A love that doesn't avoid the truth, but lives with it. And you'll understand this. To love the right way, you don't need someone to complete you. You need to be whole first. And from that place, love will come as resonance. Quiet, unforced, but deep enough to move your entire inner world. Number 3, true love is the resonance of two souls forged through fire. And when you have walked through the fire of pain, what waits for you on the other side is not ordinary love, but an intentional reunion, a bond not born of loneliness, but of two souls who know the value of darkness and choose to love with the light they have kindled within themselves. That is where true love begins. Have you ever met someone who made you feel a strange kind of peace? Not because they helped you escape reality, but because they gave you the courage to face your truth. That feeling does not come from promises, but from presence, a space where you no longer have to perform to be loved. Jung once wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." Modern man in search of a soul. When two true selves meet, neither remains the same. Love, if it is real, is not a quiet pond for hiding from storms, but a chemical tension where two people grow and transform together. Loving someone when you are empty is easy. They fill your void like a temporary pill. But that kind of love does not last. It cannot be the foundation for a transcendent experience. Jung warned, "Love is not pain, relief for wounds left unhealed. If you come together needing to be saved, you are likely playing the role of savior or victim, not a mature lover." In Psychological Types, Jung wrote, "The healthy man does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured who turn into torturers. Those who carry unhealed pain will unconsciously wound others. A relationship between two unhealed people only repeats the old injuries again and again." Are you in a relationship that makes you shrink instead of expand? Are you working to be accepted, or are you beside someone who sees both your darkness and your light and chooses to stay? Real love does not need you to explain. It just needs you to be real. But to be real, you need a partner who has already met their darkness, someone who knows themselves in love. Interestingly, lasting relationships are not built on sameness, but on the acceptance of deep difference. Jung called this the ability to hold the tension of the opposites, the transcendent function. A love that does not blur, does not flatten, but exists between contrasts, one that respects difference without trying to erase it. You do not love someone to turn them into a copy of you. You love to resonate, to coexist on different foundations while still growing together. Imagine this. You meet someone who feels deeply like you, but in truth, they are vastly different. That doesn't create conflict. It invites you into a soul dialogue. Two intersecting circles not dissolving into each other, but shining together. That relationship is not just a place to be understood, but a place to meet yourself again at a deeper level beyond the glow. And it is this element of conscious awareness that makes all the difference. Someone who has truly known pain will not hide behind a mask. They will not blame you when you are hurting. They will not project expectations onto you. A person who has once lost themselves and found their way back will not be afraid of your confusion. If both stand in that space of emotional honesty, self-responsibility, and courage to listen without defense, the relationship becomes fertile ground for mutual growth. You see, no one comes into love as a blank slate. We carry the past wounds, defense habits, and illusions about being loved. That's why real love cannot be a place to hide. It is a call to return. Because when you stop running, when you dare to sit still beside someone and your own emotions, that is when you meet yourself again. Jung once asked, "What myth am I living?" 2 essays on analytical psychology. In love, that question still applies. What myth are you living out? I am love's victim, or I am the one who must save the other? If you are not conscious of this, you will repeat the same story with the same kind of person. And here is the core. True love is not about finding your other half. Jung believed each of us is already a whole circle. When 2 complete people meet at the right time, they do not merge. They create a third space, a space of sharing growth and evolution. It is not a place of comfort. It is a foundation for awakening. If you've ever said, "When I get better, then I'll deserve love," let this be clear. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be conscious enough not to repeat the same old mistakes. Jung wrote in Psychological Types, "Every advance in culture is psychologically an extension of consciousness." That means every real breakthrough begins with awareness. In love, it begins when you become aware of who you are loving, what you are projecting, what you are needing, and what you are ignoring. Are you entering love from a place of lack or awareness? That is the question only you can answer. If you still carry the fear of rejection, still hope the other will erase your wounds, still expect them to be your medicine, then the love you meet will always be counterfeit healing. But when you step in from a place of wholeness, you will find that love is not a rescue from loneliness. It is a reward for the courage to love yourself first. In the end, Jung reminds us wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries, memories, dreams, reflections. The deeper meaning of this is the union between 2 people who fully reflect one another. They don't hide the contradictions. They embrace the fractures between them and choose to grow through them. If you have ever broken, matured, and been reborn, then you are ready not to be completed, but to go further than either of you could alone. Number 4. The relationship you are waiting for is not to fill a void, but to fulfill a purpose. When 2 souls have been forged deeply enough, they do not come together just to love. They come to fulfill something greater than the relationship itself. This is no longer the love of people who are still lacking, still afraid, still seeking validation from outside. It is the resonance of two individuals who have traveled through enough layers of themselves to realize that love is not the destination. Love is the vehicle to live fully, to contribute to something larger than the self. And in Carl Jung's view, when love reaches that level, it is no longer a private phenomenon, but becomes a spreading wave with the power to transform collectively, to heal beyond the boundaries of the relationship. Have you ever felt that some relationships didn't just change you, they awakened you? Relationships that made it impossible to go back to who you were because you saw a new potential within yourself. Carl Jung believed that when two self-aware individuals meet, what is created is not just a romance, but a spiritual union. In The Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious, he wrote, "The psychological rule says that when an inner situation is not made conscious, it happens outside as fate. When you haven't made something inside, you clear it manifests outside as destiny." And so, a conscious relationship where both have faced their shadows no longer repeats old fate. It becomes a chance to co-create a new one. Love like this is not a place to hide. It is a sacred state where you and the other, through the fullness of your presence, create an impact on the world around you. Not because you are extraordinary, but because a real connection between two souls is rare. And when it happens, it always generates energy beyond ordinary understanding. This is not idealization nor a fairy tale. Jung studied collective healing extensively, that a single individual who touches the depth of their psyche can activate change within a community. No, we imagine that when two such people meet, when neither is looking to be filled, but comes together to serve something greater, that love not only matures them, but it becomes a light that illuminates others. You can feel it when you meet a truly different couple. They are not flashy, not loud, but their energy makes you feel hope, feel inspired, feel the urge to live more deeply. Think about the relationship between Carl Jung and Emma Jung, his wife companion and a psychological analyst in her own right. While Jung immersed himself in studies of the unconscious individuation archetypes and symbols, Emma was the stable foundation, the guardian of the spiritual space that allowed him to work in freedom and depth. Emma was not just a support system. She was someone who could look into the shadow, not only Jung's, but her own. Later, she too followed the path of analytical psychology, leaving a legacy of her own. This is living proof. Love can be the launching ground for two people to carry out their deepest missions, not by dissolving into each other, but by helping one another become more complete. Are you waiting for that kind of relationship? A love that doesn't just make you happy, but makes you reevaluate the life you are living. If so, remember that kind of love doesn't arrive while you are simply waiting. It comes when you live as if you already have a purpose. Carl Jung wrote in Modern Man in Search of a Soul, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. When you stop living in fantasy and start looking into your heart, you begin to awaken. And only from that state will you be able to recognize the other when they appear. True love does not begin with fear of losing each other, but with full presence, freedom, and commitment. It does not bind you. It awakens in you a new awareness of who you are. You do not come together to possess one another. You come together to create something of value, a home, a creative project, a healing journey, or simply a conscious life. Love like this is not the product of chance, but the result of two individuation paths that have traveled far enough to meet not for possession, but for expansion. Jung called the self the organizing center of the entire individuation journey. When two people have drawn close enough to that center in themselves, meaning they have moved beyond ego, integrated their shadow, withdrawn their projections. They can love as whole beings. They do not seek to complete each other, but to expand the inner world together. In this, love difference does not cause conflict, but creates richness. Imperfection does not make you run. It invites curiosity. If you have ever been in a relationship that made you lose yourself, you were likely loving from a place of fear. But if now you have been forged enough to love from ripeness, from a place where you no longer need external validation to feel worthy, then the love that is coming is no longer a test. It is a multiplication. Jung emphasized in The Undiscovered Self, freedom stretches only as far as the limits of our consciousness. You can only love freely once you are conscious enough. At that point, love no longer blurs you. It clarifies you. It doesn't make you shrink. It helps you grow. And that doesn't come from the other. It comes from you. True love at its deepest level is not a surprise gift, but the natural result of a life lived with purpose. It is the reward for courage through pain, for persistence in healing, for the decision to live truthfully, whether or not anyone loves you. You don't have to be perfect to be loved, but you do have to be real enough, honest enough, mature enough, not to repeat the old cycles of pain. That kind of love is not, "I need you to feel worthy," but let us live in a way that is worthy of this love. And that love, as Jung wrote, in memories, dreams, reflections, wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries. You don't become whole by denying the darkness, but by integrating both the light and the shadow in yourself and in the other. Believe that the relationship you are seeking is not the end point. It is the starting line of a new path where you no longer live just for yourself, but as part of something deeper. And if you haven't found that person, yet don't rush. Begin by living in alignment with your essence. Because as Jung said, what you are is what you have been. What you will be is what you do now. If you feel you are ready to love, not out of fear of loneliness, but from the wholeness of your being, then that love is already on its way to you. Not rushed, not loud, but in its way. Through encounters that seem accidental, through signs you only recognize once your heart is open. Because true love does not enter your life like a strange wind, but like a deep awakening, a remembering of something you've always carried within. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Fate is not something that falls from the sky. It is the result of what you have not yet faced. And love is the same. If you have not made clear who you are, you will continue to be swept away by waves of emotion, by relationships that repeat the same old pain in a new form. But when you dare to step onto the path of individuation, to face the darkness, to dismantle illusions, to heal old wounds, then love is no longer an external pursuit. It becomes a wave rising from within, from the deepest place of your being, where the collective unconscious, the archetypes, and the will of your soul have long whispered, "The time has come." And if you feel that you have been chosen, then yes, you have always been chosen. The love you long for is not some distant dream. It is the echo of an ancient promise written long before you ever knew what love was. What remains is this: do you have the courage to live as your true self and to receive it? If what you just read made your heart stir, if you feel as if someone just named the journey you are living, that is no accident. Let this channel be a space that walks with you on your path of inner exploration, healing, and living fully in the way Carl Jung once described a life of awareness, depth, and soul. Click subscribe because the next content will take you deeper into the map of the soul, where you do not just understand love, but begin to understand yourself. And if you are already in the middle of that journey, do not walk it alone. We meet here not by chance, but because you are ready.